You should buy Disney stock. Today I'm going to tell you should buy Disney stock, and I'm going to tell you why you should buy stock in Disney. Disney owns theme parks. Disney owns television shows. Disney owns movies. Disney owns a variety of different things. Disney produces a lot of content. I'm actually not going to sit here and tell you to invest in Disney for the theme parks, even though, yes, the theme parks are probably the majority of the money Disney makes is from theme parks, because their theme parks do very well. Disney theme parks do very well. They do. Disney theme parks make more money than any any Disney has the best theme parks in the world, and they make more money than any theme parks in the world. I will just say that Disney I grew up in Florida, and I can say Disney has the best theme parks. You can't find a theme park better than Disney World. I mean, there's Epcot, Universal Studios. Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and the Magic Kingdom all comprise Disney World. And there's actually a few other parks like I don't know what they're called. They're like the Animal Kingdom one. I've never been there, but anyways, Disney World comprises a lot of different parks and parks inside Disney World that make it the best theme park in the world. They have really nice hotels. They're not like that nice hotels, but pretty nice hotels. I'd stay at the hotel off the main campus, but just off or maybe it was on the campus. I don't know. It's only on the edge of campus, like Sheridan or whatever. Anyways, so Disney World is a company you want to buy for the theme parks, yeah. But I'm mostly going to talk about their other content other than the theme parks. Even though the theme parks are good, I'm not saying the theme parks are bad. I'm just saying there's more to Disney than just theme parks. Even though the majority of the money does come from theme parks. I'm a big believer in Disney movies. I really care about Disney movies, and I think that people underestimate Disney movies. Well, it's Disney makes really good movies. They're the biggest movie studio in the world. They bought 20th Century Fox, which 20th Century Fox was the third biggest movie studio in the world. So the first biggest movie studio bought the third biggest movie studio, 20th Century Fox. So Disney makes a lot of movies. And, they bought the rights of Star Wars. They bought the rights of Pixar. They bought Pixar about 20 years ago. No, about 15 years ago they bought Pixar. So they dominate the children's entertainment industry. The Pixar, half of their animated movies are Pixar movies. Half of them are Disney animation. And Disney has a long history of wonderful animation, glorious animation. I think Disney has always made better kids content than any other company. Now, Disney doesn't make edgy kids content. It used to be you'd have to go to Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon to find the edgy kids content. They'd have the edgy cartoons and stuff on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. But if you wanted the family-friendly cartoons, you want Disney movies. Disney movies were always so great. They had Beauty and the Beast. They had Aladdin. They had all this stuff. I'm showing my age. I was a kid in the early 90s, so I love all the early 90s ones. Pocahontas, even though a lot of people didn't like Pocahontas. I like Pocahontas. Aladdin. Anyways, I'm not going to list every Disney movie. The Little Mermaid. The Lion King. The Lion King was the other big one in the early 90s. The Lion King, that's the one I was forgetting. Disney is really good at making fairy tales. Disney Animation Studios specializes in fairy tales, and they specialize in princesses and princes and the hero's journey. If you know anything about, I forgot the name of the guy who came up with the name of the hero's journey, but a lot of Disney movies follow a formula, a basic formula, and most of them follow that formula. Disney does not try to make edgy movies. If you want edgy movies, you need to look somewhere else. Disney tries to make it family friendly. They try to make it so everyone likes it. Like whether you're Christian or you're not, or you're atheist or you're Buddhist or you're Muslim or whatever religion you are, or you don't have a religion, they try not to offend anybody to a fault. Sometimes they don't include gay characters just because they're trying not to offend people, but in reality they should include more gay characters because they're offensive actually for not including gay characters. That's what I find offensive, is when Disney doesn't include gay characters. That's what I find offensive. So, those are some of the things that make Disney special. Is they have really good animation. They have really good stories. They have really good writing, really good directing. Pixar is a whole other brand of Disney movies. I think a Pixar movie is a little bit different. My uncle used to work at Pixar, by the way. But I always preferred the Disney animated movies more than Pixar, but Pixar was also equally as popular when I was a kid, or maybe when I was a teenager more so, than the traditional animated movies. The Pixar movies usually have been equally as popular. And actually, a lot of the talent from Pixar went to the Disney animated movies once Disney bought Pixar. So now it's kind of like, Pixar is kind of, I think they almost don't even put as much effort into the Pixar movies as much as they do in the Disney movies. Owned by the same company, but they're two different studios, right? Disney has two animated movie studios, the Disney Animated and the Pixar, and they have different vibes. Pixar is a little more edgy. It's a little more, Pixar just makes edgier stuff, not like super edgy, not like that edgy, but just like a little bit more innovative. Disney and Pixar was the first company to do 3D animated movies, and then DreamWorks started right after that. You know, Pixar started with the Toy Story movies and Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo and WALL-E and all that stuff. And DreamWorks is a different company. That's not Disney at all, but some of the people who worked for Disney went to work at DreamWorks, and they made Shrek. They made a whole bunch of movies. And a lot of times the DreamWorks movies would copy what Pixar was doing, and they'd come out. But I mean, DreamWorks had a lot of original ideas too, but they would copy what Pixar was doing, and then they'd come out with their version of that, like 6 months after Pixar did it. It was kind of funny, but I don't know. Like they make a movie Ants that came out right after The Bug's Life came out, or they can make a movie about that fish movie or whatever, and it came out like Shark Tale came out like 6 months after Finding Nemo came out, and they'd always copy Pixar. Anyways, some people even prefer the DreamWorks movies. I could never stand the DreamWorks movies outside of Shrek. I like Shrek because there's like a fairy tale. I like fairy tales. But anyways, I'm rambling. But there's no reason. I'm just telling you how passionate I am about this stuff. That's why I think you should invest in Disney stock. I'm a believer, as Shrek would say. I'm a believer. No, that's not Disney, but I'm a believer I'm a believer in fairy tales. And I'm a believer, and Disney does fairy tales better than anybody else. And I think the whole concept of fairy tales are going to go up in value over time. They're not going to go down in value. They're going to go up in value. There's going to be more obsession over fairy tales. I would invest in whatever company is selling fairy tales. And you know what company sells more fairy tales than any other company? Is Disney. Disney sells them in Disney World fairy tales, and they sell them in the movies. And Disney finds any fairy tale they can find in any part of the world they can find, whether the Middle East or South America or Asia, and they put them in or European, a lot of the European ones, obviously, they've always done European ones, but they put them in a movie, and they tell it to kids, and they reformat it to the 21st century ethical values, and it's not 19th century ethical values that maybe was written down in 19th century values, and today we bring it to 21st century values, tell the same story, the witches and the broomsticks and the poison apples, and then we bring it to today, and you know, it's better than ever. I would say you want to invest in fairy tales, because I think as religion loses its popularity, we're going to look to fairy tales more as a viable source of ethics. Because people are going to start to view Christianity as more of a fairy tale. I wouldn't be surprised if Disney started making Christian fairy tales too. Maybe not this year, maybe in 30 years they start making Christian fairy tale movies. Once people realize, you know what, I think DreamWorks made like that one movie about, what was it called? It was about Moses. I think DreamWorks made a movie about Moses about 25 years ago. I think about 25 years ago, DreamWorks made a movie about Moses. They're going to make more movies about religious stuff, but as fairy tales. They're going to tell the story as a fairy tale. And there's a lot of so many fairy tale stories that are left to be told. That's why you should invest in Disney stock, because most of the great stories haven't been told yet. That's why Disney is much better at this than Netflix is. Now Netflix could catch up. I'm sure. Netflix is probably going to be the biggest competitor moving forward, or whatever. But maybe Netflix will buy like DreamWorks Animations. I don't know. I'm making stuff up, but you should invest in fairy tales, and Disney does fairy tales better than anyone else. That's why you should invest in Disney stock. I'm a big believer in fairy tales. I like the Prince Charming and the Song as Old as Time, and I like when a Peebo Bryson and Celine Dion do a duet called Beauty and the Beast, and I adore that stuff. I really love that stuff. Even though some of those old movies are kind of offensive if you look at them today. Oh wow, the Beast is really a horrible person. He should go to jail for what he did. But still a good movie. Still a good movie, even though it's not realistic. They're making them better now than they used to do it. But I prefer the ones I grew up with, even though I know they're offensive. And if I was a kid today, I would enjoy the stuff they're making now more than the stuff they made back then. You know what I mean? So that's why you should buy Disney stock, because you make a company turning fairy tales into movies, making tons of money off that. The other reason you should buy Disney stock is because of Disney Plus. Disney Plus is a huge platform that is going to make the box office numbers obsolete, and more people are going to subscribe to Disney Plus in the same way more and more people are going to subscribe to Netflix. People are going to subscribe to Disney Plus, they're going to subscribe to Netflix, they're going to subscribe to HBO Max, they're going to subscribe to all this stuff. And you want to be a buyer. I'm not telling. I actually don't have Disney Plus. Sometimes I don't. I have other ways of watching their movies. Let's put it that way. But Disney Plus is going to be a big thing moving forward, and it's going to be a huge way for Disney to make more and more money. Disney Plus is going to get closer and closer to where Netflix is, and at some point Disney Plus might surpass Netflix potentially. We'll see what happens. Disney Plus might surpass Netflix. I don't know. And the prices of Netflix keeps going up, but they do release more content for it. So that's that. That's all I can think of Disney. Disney Plus, fairy tales, movies, live action. Disney makes a lot of live action movies too. They don't just make animated movies. They make a lot of live action movies, like Marvel movies. I'm not a Marvel movie fan, but when I was a kid, when I used to watch animated movies, I actually preferred DC. I was a Batman guy, but I don't watch any superhero movies anymore. However, obviously Disney owns Marvel, and Marvel makes the biggest movies in the world. And I prefer fairy tales personally, but a lot of people prefer superhero movies, and superhero movies are a huge blockbuster, huge moneymaker right now. So you want to be invested in superhero movies, and who makes more superhero movies than anybody else is Disney. Disney makes more superhero movies than anybody else. It's a huge cash cow. That's the word I was looking for. Cash cow. Superhero movies are a cash cow, even though I think fairy tales are a little more intellectual to me personally. Superhero movies are a cash cow. And they will be a cash cow for the foreseeable future because superhero movies are the new westerns. Westerns were the cash cow 70 years ago, and now they still make some westerns, but now we're going through a phase. Like 30 years ago, I think crime was a big thing 30 years ago, where there was like the Godfather movies and Goodfellas and all these thirsty movies. I don't know what to describe it as, but I'm saying movies go through phases, and right now we're in a superhero phase. We're in a superhero phase right now. So what does that mean? It means Disney's going to be on top for the foreseeable future. And guess what? When the new phase comes, I'm sure Disney will capitalize on that in the same way they always capitalize on everything. So Disney does well in live action. Disney does well in CGI. Disney does well in animated, all this stuff. Even though they don't do hand-drawn animation. I prefer the hand-drawn animation. They don't make that stuff anymore because kids don't like hand-drawn animation, even though I like hand-drawn animation better. Kids don't like it today, so that's just the way the world is. So that's why I think you should buy Disney stock, because I'm passionate about all the stuff they're making, all the content they're producing. In the future, content is going to be king, and content's already king, and you want to be with the content king. That is Disney. Disney is the content king. Along with Netflix. Netflix is the other company you should buy. If you believe content is king like I do, you should buy Netflix. And Google owns YouTube. You can watch content like this video here. So Google owns a lot of content. Netflix owns a lot of content. Disney owns a lot of content. Content is king, so you want to buy stocks that own a lot of content, a lot of IP. You want IP. So that's why you should buy Disney stock. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Disney stock? Do you think it's going to do as well as I do? Are you as passionate about Disney? I'm actually a Disney adult. Are you a Disney adult? Let me know in the comments below. Is there anything else? Yeah, so let me know what you think about Disney in the comments below. Please subscribe to this channel to be part of the community. And please like this video. It really helps the channel out a lot. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Bye.